And so here's an example. We can't see it as clear as I'd like it to, but here's an example of activities of daily living and instrumental activities of daily living. So you've got bathing, showering, bowel and bladder movement, cleaning, bathing, feeding, functional mobility, functional device care. Let's see, hygiene and grooming, sexual activities, sleep, rest, toilet hygiene. Okay, so that gives you an idea. So you're talking about sleep, bathing, showering, dressing, cooking, cleaning, laundry, things like that. Okay. All right, that's ADLs. And then you come down and you go, well, what's an example of instrumental activities of daily living? Care of others, including, so it'd be care of pets. Does somebody else have to take care of the pet now? See, child rearing. That actually happened with a patient of mine. They couldn't lift their child without there being pain or restrictions. Communication device, community mobility, financial management, health management and maintenance, all the categories that fall under health maintenance and management. Can they do it on their own, or do they need assistance to help with that now? Home establishment and maintenance. Do they need assistance now? Do they need somebody else? Now, this is important. Like if they now need a sister, brother, mother, father, brother, sister, or a child is now needed to help them with some of the activities around the house. That does happen frequently, especially with laundry, picking things up. Now they have to have the kid pick things up because they can't pick up a laundry basket, things like that. Meal preparation and cleanup. So we shopping, carrying groceries, things like that. So again, that's they're calling that instrumental activities of daily living. So a little bit more complex, but just keep in mind. So if it's activities that they need help with, so it's still activities of daily living, but now they just need help doing it. And then of course there's the personal. The activities of daily living are the personal that you're doing individually. So we'll be paying a lot of attention to these. Now remember, when we document these cases, remember how important these cases are. So knowing how to evaluate activities of daily living, it becomes unbelievably important. Knowing how to evaluate, quantify them, and be able to explain them, which becomes very important, which I go over. In other words, I show you how to explain why the patient has pain or restrictions in some planes of motion, but not others, or in some degrees of motion, but not necessarily 100% in that full plane of motion. See, we've got to be able to explain that. So not only did we quantify, not only did we get the impairment with our findings with subjective, hybrid, and objective findings, that brought us to the impairment. And then we're going to evaluate the activities of daily living with active, passive, and joint motion in each of the planes of motion relative to that ADL. But then we have to be able to explain it. Well, why does that person, why do they have no trouble bending backwards 100% to the left or to the right? Matter of fact, they can bend forward, 50 degrees with no pain or discomfort. It's only the last 20 degrees is when they start having pain, and that's when it becomes restricted. Well, we've got to be able to explain that. And of course we can. And that's phenomenal. And the attorneys just love that. Not many people know it. You have like zero competition that knows how to do what I just explained. And that's what the attorneys want. That's when you get a lot of business, when you know how to explain that, when you know how to put all that together and explain it.